Hi everyone, welcome back to this series of PMP practice questions, particularly from the PMBOK 7th edition, and we've done an amazing amount of PMBOK questions so far, more than 100, and we're on our way for the next 50. Hold on to your hats. I mean, we've had a great time so far, directly from the latest PMBOK guide. Wonderful stuff, really good way to learn about project management and all the different intricacies that you'll find within it. Let's get into this set of questions. You're a project manager assessing the risk of future releases with your team. You have a clear set of requirements from your customer. However, there are a range of possible correct solutions. Okay, so one input, lots of different potential outputs that may or may not get the outcome that the customer needs. There are a range of known unknowns. Well, I feel like that's a clue, but I'm not sure how. Known unknowns are like risks, so we know that they're there, but the impact of them is unknown. So how are we going to approach this situation? I have a feeling this is about one of the models in the PMBOK guide, as well as like complexity models. There's a lot on complexity and ambiguity and stuff. So let's see what we've got. Use current best practices to make decisions. That sounds all right. Sure, couldn't really go wrong there, could we? Let's put a maybe for now. Use emergent practices that will allow you to probe the environment, sense the situation, and respond with action. Probe the environment? I mean, I think that's for like quite a complex situation maybe. This one is like medium complexity, because we know that there's stuff out there, we know what it is, we just don't know what's going to happen, what the responses or what the solutions need to be. So we need to, what do we do here? Assess the facts, analyze the situation, and apply known good practices. I think if we were to look at this from that risk perspective, that's probably what we would do. I feel like I'm going to get tripped up here though. Sense where there is some stability and take steps to try and stabilize the situation. Okay, that's like an out of control situation, I think. So we need to stabilize it, and then we can go and apply some of these other practices. So let's put a no in that one for now. It's not out of control. I think between these two, let's treat it as we would as if we were managing risk. And so we don't need just the normal best practices. We need to analyze, do a bit of analysis as well. So let's try with answer C. Okay, wow, that was a little bit lucky, I think. And here's the framework, so that's good. And this one, so it's spelled that way, but I think it's pronounced Kuhneven, the Kuhneven framework. Complicated relationships exist when there is a set of known unknowns or a range of correct answers. So complicated relationships. In these situations, it's best to assess the facts, analyze the situation, and apply good practices. Okay, so we got there. Answer B is for complex, unknown unknowns. So that's unknown unknowns. D is for chaotic, no clear cause or effect. So we need to bring it back in control. And A is where there is an obvious cause or effect. Okay, wow, that's a lot of information on the first question. Gosh, I feel like I got my money's worth already. How good is that? All right, I hope they're not all like this, but let's see what we've got next. You've been asked to initiate a project to deliver a new system. The requirements are not clear. Here we go again, okay, and it will take some time to uncover them. The system has been used by some team members, but not all, and it has a medium level of uncertainty around it. Okay, how are we going to approach this project? Is this the same Kuhneven model again? I'm not sure. Release small usable features. So the requirements are not clear, we need to make them become clear, and there's medium level of uncertainty. Release small usable features and improve your approach based on feedback. I mean, I think that sounds quite good actually. That's your typical Agile approach, isn't it? So that's why we use Agile, is to work through that uncertainty and for things to become clearer. So that's pretty good. Let's see what else we have just in case. Do additional planning up front to ensure every component is thought of. I think no, because we're still going to have to work through that uncertainty. Split the team into two and work on different parts of the system to simplify it. I think it's better if we have just small teams and work on it together and work closely together. So that's a no. Form a business case for starting from scratch with new, easier to use technology. Maybe, but that's going to be a long road to recovery for that one. So I think to get started straight away, we can actually get started straight away using small features and working through it. So let's go with answer A. Great stuff. Oh, and there is a model around this too. So it's not just sort of the agile way of working. The Stacy matrix looks at 2 dimensions to determine complexity. Uncertainty in the requirements and uncertainty in the technology. So that's good to know. The labels, this labels a project simple, complicated, complex, or chaotic. And agile methodologies work best in complicated and complex environments. If it's chaotic, same as the other model, we need to stabilize it and bring it back into that middle realm so then we can use those agile methods. Page 165 under Stacy Matrix in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Wonderful stuff. We're getting pretty deep here, so this is pretty good. All right, what do we have next? Your project team came together from different parts of the organization and were introduced formally to each other, so we've all met, that's good. Now you notice that there's some conflict in the team. Okay, good. We're going through that forming, storming, norming, performing, those phases of a team. Some people don't respect others' decisions and are not working together well, and there are some personality clashes within the team. What are we going to do next? Okay, let's see what we've got here. Help team members get to know each other, their names. I feel like they were introduced, so we know each other. I think we're past that. Help the team understand their roles and responsibilities and form a regular rhythm of meetings, collaboration, and work. Maybe, I think that's decent, perhaps. Help the team jockey for position within the team and foster healthy conflict. I think that actually sounds unhealthy, so I think that's contradictory. Conflict can definitely be healthy, but only if we're working towards an outcome or a solution together, not competing against each other. So last one, help the team complete project work and disperse onto other things. I think that's adjourning, perhaps. I hope I'm on the right track here, but that's when we've finished and then we can leave the project. But if we've already done this one, we don't want that one. That one's at the end. Then that really just leaves answer B. So let's try that one. Okay, pretty good. We got there by elimination, which is nice. All right. This scenario describes the 5 stages of team development. It was the Tuckman ladder. Oh, I didn't quite match it up, but it wasn't too bad. When there is conflict and difficulty working together, the team is in the storming stage. We should help them understand their roles, responsibilities, and find a regular rhythm so they can move to the norming stage. That does make sense. Page 166 under Tuckman Ladder in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Excellent, excellent work. All right, and we are really getting through these questions. You are doing a great job. Let's keep going. You have formed a new project team and have worked through the purpose and mission of the project with them. Good. You expanded on who is on the project team and the skills and abilities each person brings. Great. You would like to foster a high-performing culture and ensure the team is able to deliver as soon as possible. What are you going to do next? Okay, so we've done the vision. We've done the who. So now do we do the what? So what do we do like as a project? Maybe high-performing culture. I wonder if that's any clues as well. Work through changes on the project team and the project, such as deliverables and stakeholders. I think probably not for a high-performing culture, and maybe we're not there yet, I think. If we've got the why, the who, and we need to do the what, I think. Decompose the high-level plan into greater detail, including a detailed schedule or backlog. Yeah, maybe that's the what. I wonder if there's anything else that gives us a clue though. Define a plan to achieve the project goals, maybe, including milestone schedules, release plans, and high-level budgets. Sure, plan to achieve the goals. And the last one, clarify the goals of the team and what you are here to deliver. Okay, the what. So what is it we're here to deliver? Once we've done that, then we do the plan. And then with that plan, then we decompose that into a backlog. And then we work through the changes. Oh, how about that? I think we got there in the end. I think the next step for us is answer D, I hope. Okay. These are a little bit tricky for me. I don't know how you guys are going, but we did get there in the end, so that's good. This question refers to the Drexler-Sibbett team performance model. Wow, we've got models everywhere at the moment. This is great. Project management models, how about that? The steps include orientation, trust building, goal clarification, commitment, Implementation, high performance, and renewal. And after trust building comes goal clarification, so that's good. And we've got page 167, Drexler Civet Team Performance Model in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Wonderful stuff. How did you guys go for that one? All right, we are really getting through these, so let's keep going. Your team members have raised an issue as they believe the current project scope will not reach the intended project goal of increasing customer retention. Okay, so our project, we don't think it's going to reach the goal, so that's good. You take their concerns to the project sponsor, who controls the funding and resources. The sponsor dismisses them and directs you to proceed with the scope currently set. What will you do next? Tricky situation. And is this, so they've dismissed what they don't, they say, just go ahead and do it anyway. And they are the sponsor, so they're in charge. I mean, really, is there anything else that we need to do? I'm not sure. Problem solve with the sponsor and find a resolution. Yep, problem solving is always one of the better answers, for sure. Let's put a maybe for that one, high maybe. Okay, well this is the different types of conflict, I think. So so this is win-win, I think. It's something like that anyway. Compromise with the sponsor, so each party gets a little bit of what they want. That's actually a lose-lose. Again, I hope I'm on the right track here. Accommodate the sponsor to maintain harmony and goodwill. So we lose a little bit and they win. And you know what, that's appropriate, I guess, because they are the project sponsor. We're delivering it to the customer. It is actually up to them. So, you know, that's actually not a bad thing. This might fit in our scenario here. But again, you always do want to go for that win-win scenario, I guess. Force the issue, that would be, so the sponsor accepts the change, so that would be us winning and them losing. That's a win-lose scenario. So out of all of these, we don't want lose-lose, so we can get rid of B. We don't want, win-lose. We don't really want to make our sponsor lose, while we win. That's probably going to be bad for our careers. So let's put a no for that one. Between win-win and lose-win, both of those are good. But if it is literally the customer who we're delivering to, I think probably accommodating them in this case is going to work for us. So both of these are good. This is actually another tricky one. I hope I'm not wrong here, but let's go with answer C. Okay, all right. I'm a bit relieved, but also that honestly could have gone either way, I think. Let's see what tips they give us in the answer here. So looks like another model, which is always good. We must be up to the model part of the PMBOK guide. So Ken Thomas and Ralph Hillman describe 6 ways to address conflict depending on the relative power between the individuals. Now that makes sense. So now all of a sudden the sponsor, they have a lot of power. They have a power over our career. And they're the customer, so we want them to be happy, obviously. They have all of the power, really. So there is confronting and problem solving, collaborating, compromising, accommodating, forcing and withdrawing. Since there is a desire to maintain a good relationship with the sponsor, adopting an accommodating posture might be appropriate. That actually does make sense. So page 168 and 169 under the conflict model in the PMBOK guide. Okay, well, I think, I got lucky there, but how did you guys go? And I certainly learned something at the end of that as well, which is definitely the main thing. That's really, really good. All right, we're halfway through now, so you're doing great. The functional manager raises a concern that they have not been engaged correctly, and the program is missing some key requirements as a result. You believe you've captured all the items required. Your program manager asks you to handle the situation and approach it from, look at that, a win-win perspective. What will you do next? Well, okay, I mean, is it going to be another tricky one? I'm worried about this now. Escalate the decision to the steering committee to ensure your point of view is heard. Probably not a win-win. I think we want that problem solving, don't we? So demonstrate integrity. That's always good. Find mutual trust, also good. And look at the situation from their point of view. All of those are good things, but is that a win-win? I'm not sure. I mean, sort of. Let's put a maybe for now. Choose to give some leeway in your approach so the functional manager can add their requirements. So we want win-win. Again, is that a lose-win? Is that more of a lose-win scenario? I'm not sure. Let's put a low maybe on that. Get your requirements baselined first and then compete with the manager to ensure a win. And let's win at all costs, except of course there are going to be costs down the road when that manager doesn't collaborate with us in the future. So not the best scenario. Let's put a no for now. If we're win-win, do we have to have integrity? Absolutely. Do we have to find mutual trust? Do we have to look at it from their point of view? All of those things, very appropriate. I think I'm not confident on all of these or any of these, but the best one, I think, the high medium. Let's go with answer B. Okay, all right. And it's Stephen Covey from the 7 highly effective habits of people. Something, I can't remember what is the book. Someone help me out in the comments, please. But it's a wonderful book, Stephen Covey, really good stuff. And he says, think win-win. So it shows different possible outcomes. We've got all of those. A win-win approach is found when there is mature character, trust, and the ability to approach it from the other's point of view. So there it is directly from the PMBOK Guide, 7th edition, page 169 under negotiation. And also nice that they threw in the 7 habits of highly effective people. So there, I finally remembered it. Excellent, and we're nearly done. We've only got 4 to go in this little section. You're doing an amazing job, guys. Keep going. You have been planning a project to deliver a process change for the past 4 weeks. The requirements and scope have been signed off by the business owner, and the team are moving into delivery and execution. The work begins in line with the project plan and scope. What will you do next? You know what, this sounds suspiciously like the PMBOK 6th edition, actually. Those steps, the project steps. So we've planned, we've initiated it, it's the requirements have been signed off by the business owner. We're ready to move into execution and delivery. So what do we do next? We monitor and control, and then we close the project. So that's all of those steps that you've become very familiar with from the PMBOK 6th edition, and now they've taken a bit of a back seat in the PMBOK 7th edition. So I see we've got that answer here. There we are. These are all those steps. Execute the project work. Well, we're currently doing that. Plan the work. We've already done that. Formally sign off the project. We can't do that until it's finished. So I think for our purposes, let's monitor and control that work. Make sure that it stays on track. Make sure it meets its goals. Let's go with answer A. Okay, very nice. And we've been through that so much. If you've been through the waterfall questions, you will know that back to front. So the project management process groups are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. They may be performed in sequence, or they might be iterated on, or they might be done all at once for one increment if you're working in Agile. They're applicable in every scenario. As project work is executed, it then needs to be monitored and controlled. Page 170 under process groups in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Wonderful stuff. How did you guys go for that one? All right, we've only got 3 to go. You're doing great. You're working as a product owner while your sales and revenue have been increasing over the past 8 months. The overall profit has decreased by 17%. Wow, this is great. And this is a good lesson for us all, because revenue and sales is not the same as profit. So the money that we get to take is the profit. And so in between that is all of our costs. So all of our operating costs, people costs, system costs, and that takes away from the revenue and turns it into what we've got left, which is our profit. So you'll hear a lot of people saying, oh, I made $1 million in sales. Okay, well, how much of that did you get to keep? So basic business, good to know. Your executive manager asks you to address the situation. What are we going to do next? Stop the current work and set a planning session with your team to address the situation. Anytime we can not stop the work, that's what we want to do. We want to keep going. And I think that's part of why Agile works, is because we're working just in smaller pieces and smaller teams, and we can keep going even when things get difficult or complex. So let's put a no for that one for now. Ask your team to work overtime on the current features in your backlog to get the work done. And we've been through this again and again and again. You'll see it come up again and again and again in your life. Sustainable pace. We want to keep that sustainable pace. We don't want peaks and troughs. We don't want hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. So let's put a no for that one. Perform benchmarking with a similar yet non-competitive company and add any process improvements to your product backlog. So what are we trying to do here? We're trying to reduce that cost so we have more profit left over at the end of the day. How do we do that? Process improvements. Maybe we get some ideas from another company to see how they're going. That's actually pretty good. So pretty good. Look for opportunities to partner with other products in your organization and increase your sales further. Good example here. If we're increasing our sales further, but we haven't taken care of that cost issue, what's going to happen? We might increase a little bit, but we haven't addressed the root cause. So that profit is still not going to be as high as it could be. This is a great question. Wow, this is a lot of fun, this one. And I think if you guys are on the same page as I am, I think we're going to go with that answer C. Okay, very nice. As a product owner, your responsibility is to increase users, sales revenue, and profit for your product. If profit is decreasing while sales revenue is increasing, the product is costing more to produce or sell. Performing benchmarking to find gaps in your process, then executing them with your team will help. PMBOK Guide, 7th edition, page 175, data gathering and analysis, benchmarking. Again, this is information direct from the PMBOK Guide 7th edition, so we're learning while we're answering these questions. You don't need to read the book, you still can, I would recommend it, but we're actually going through it piece by piece, so this is pretty good. How did you guys go with that one? All right, 2 to go, let's do this. You have been given authority to manage the upcoming features your team will release. You do not have a high enough level of expertise in the product, so you gather senior users from the product's area to create a features list. Makes sense. Each stakeholder wants their feature to be delivered first. Okay, of course they do. You will see this happen in the real world all the time. How will you prioritize them and move forward? Okay, this is just on prioritization. So we can do this one. And I see Moscow here, that's really good. So wonder what else we have. Go with the features wanted by the top level executives first to avoid issues later on. We could do this, in fact there's a name for it, the highest paid person's opinion, the hippo. You will see that a little bit, but you might appease the high-level executives, but they may not be close enough to the work to understand what's really, really needed. So that can be a dangerous thing. Let's put a no for now. Perform Moscow analysis with the stakeholders. That's certainly a way to prioritize. You have must have, should have, could have, and won't have something similar, or will not have for now, something similar. But the thing is with this, and you'll see this all the time as well, is everyone just votes for their item to be must have. So, it sort of works, but not really. So Moscow, everyone just says, well, mine is a must have. Okay, we need to delve a little deeper here and get a bit more information. If there's nothing else, we'll go with this, but let's see what else we have. Perform a root cause analysis and go with the features that address the root cause. Well, what are we doing here? What are we addressing the root cause of? So I'm not sure about this. I mean, maybe between these two, I'm not sure. I'd probably go with Moscow over that one, actually. Let's see what the last one is, just in case. Use a cost-benefit analysis and compare the time needed to recover the project cost. Okay. Oh, gosh, there's a lot of information there. Cost to benefit. That's a really good way to do it. So what is the benefit we're getting from each of these features? Wow, shouldn't we look at that? So high benefit, yes, but also low cost. What's the lowest cost, highest benefit one that we can deliver first? That makes sense. And compare the time needed to recover the project cost. Okay, that one's got me a bit, I'm not sure on that, but obviously if we're trying to recover the cost from the benefit that we're getting. So that sort of makes sense. I think if we're looking at that, probably better than Moscow, even though Moscow is a direct prioritization framework. Cost-benefit analysis also is. So this is tricky, but I really like this one better for those reasons that we spoke about. Let's go with answer D. Okay, cost to benefit and the payback period, time to recover an investment. That's what they were talking about. Are the best accepted ways to prioritize business value? Well, there you go. Something for the real world, something we can take away and use. Root cause analysis is better for specific problems, which we didn't know what they were. Performing Moscow with the stakeholders may result in each of them wanting their feature to be must-have. Yes, indeed. Page 175, business justification analysis methods, direct from the PMBOK guide again. And here we are, last question in this little section. You've done an amazing job. Let's do this. You're creating a business case and a project charter with a small initial project team. You have a high-level feature decomposed into smaller release milestones, and you'd like to note a high-level schedule using wideband Delphi or a high-level version of planning poker. Okay, what are we going to do next? Wideband Delphi is when we do an estimation, and it's high level, and in the next pass we actually get a bit more refined. And then in the next pass we get a bit more refined again, and in the next pass. And so actually this is based on everyone's information. So everyone has different estimates, and then the estimates get closer together now that we know what everyone else is saying and they've given their reasons, until finally we've got our final amount after all these different passes at estimating. So it gets more honed every time. So planning poker, hold a round of cards with points on them where each team member places their cards in the center for the total estimate. That sounds correct, but it's not, because it's still this. Planning poker is basically still this, but just with with cards. So with playing cards or with numbers. So people change the numbers with each round. Let's put a no for now. Ask subject matter experts to complete multiple rounds of estimates. Sounds good. Individually compare and explain the highest and lowest estimates for each round. That's exactly it. Show the wideband high-level range from the lowest to highest for each feature. They used the right word, but that's not the right process, so let's put a no for now. Find the business functionality for each feature and estimate the effort based on that. I think that's a different type of estimation, not wideband, so that's a no. Let's go with answer B. And there it is. The wideband Delphi technique asks subject matter experts to complete multiple rounds of estimates individually, compare, and explain the highest and lowest estimates for each round. Planning poker is a variation of wideband Delphi. Page 178, estimating wideband Delphi in the PMBOK guide, 7th edition. And you guys have made it through this little section. You've done an amazing job. I have to congratulate you on just the work that you're putting in. By putting in this work, you're truly proving that you can pass the PMP. You're putting in a little bit every single day, learning a little bit more, getting a little bit better, and if you keep doing that, nothing can stop you. I truly believe that you can pass the exam, and I know you can get what you need out of your career once you do that. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.